All right, let's get started. Welcome to today's Soul Food Sunday. Today we go ahead and discuss the IKIGAI book. Today is part 2 of IKIGAI. I hope you have gone through the exercises that we discussed last Sunday. You know, it's very important that you follow through so that at least you can get the learnings appropriately. So let me share my slides so that we can start off. If you can see those slides, you can give me a thumbs up either on Facebook, or if you're on Zoom, you can give me a thumbs up. But I think I can see them. Let me just see. Just 1 minute. Yeah, sure. It's working. All right. So welcome once again. Today we are on part 2 of Ikigai, lessons from the Japanese secret to a long and happy life. And today we'll go ahead with our second lesson, which is 6 key lessons from the book that you read. I hope you all read the book. The reason why actually you need to read this book is because there's so much to implement in your own life, right? And even tweak what you've been struggling with. But I'll keep giving the lessons because you can always watch this later. And for those who are going to watch on our YouTube channel, please subscribe, click at the bottom of this, subscribe, and click the bell so that you can be alerted anytime that we upload a new video. So to start with is the introductions. As I said, I am Lucy Munga, and I'm very passionate about personal and financial wealth management, or even building all that and making your lifestyle fabulous. And I like to do that because I like to do that for myself, and at the same time share the learnings with those who are watching. And thank you so much for those who are watching on Facebook. I've just seen there are a few people watching there, so that we can learn as much as possible. Other than just my passion, I'm also a certified coach recognized by ICF. And if you need some coaching sessions for your company, for your organization, or even for yourself as a person, that would be great. There are also some lessons that are some training that has been uploaded in our school. We have amaracampus.com that is online. So just go to amaracampus.com, go to courses, and you can pick any course there and just pay. And some of them are free. You can just register and study as much as possible. Some of the lessons, or even most of the lessons that you offer there, are just to do with what we discuss every Sunday. So, but in those trainings, you definitely get a little bit more than what we cover on Sundays, because there are even practical sessions and homework that you can actually carry home. The other thing that I do, other than coaching and also the amaracampus.com, is giving back to the community. And as I said, there is a book that my daughter has just launched, or rather written. She's now a published author at 12 years old, and I'm supporting other people do the same. So you're most welcome to speak to me at any time. So let's move on with today's session. And we are discussing those 6 lessons from the Ikigai. But before we go, that being a Soul Food Sunday, let's feed our souls. The first is Proverbs 16, verse 3, which says that commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your path or plans. What that means is that in everything that you do, we spoke about last week about aligning yourself with God so that you're able to discover what his purpose is. And today we are being told your plans, commit them to God, and he will establish those plans for you. So what we're being told is that don't struggle on your own. If let's say you're struggling too much on your own, just listen to what the word has to say and follow through. The second verse we're going to share today is that I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go, and I will counsel you with my eye upon you. The reason why I like this particular verse in Psalms 32:8 is because my question today is, are you even listening to what God has to say to you? Are you hearing him? Or are you too busy working? Because if you're just too busy doing your own thing, your own way, your own style, what we are saying is that this particular verse is not actually applying to you, because God says that I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. So if you're not listening, if you're not hearing what the Bible has to say, then you are actually struggling and perhaps feeling overwhelmed as a result. So my urge for you today is that step back a little, take a moment, listen, just go to a quiet place, even if it's for a day or for an hour or even for a week, you can even go away and just listen. Sometimes you don't have to say anything, yeah? Because perhaps the instructions have been coming, but you're not actually taking, giving that attention that is required. And perhaps that's why you're getting into all those calamities that are happening. But yes, we know it's a difficult time in the whole world, but still there are so many people who are thriving, and I'm sure you know them that are thriving out there. But there are some secrets they have, perhaps they haven't shared with you. And some of them are what I'm sharing with you today is just take a moment and listen to what the Bible has to say. And as I said, I always share more than one verse every Sunday, and one of them is usually the word for the day. So for today is that many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Lord's purpose that prevails. So you have so many plans, you are doing so many things, but you're feeling stuck. You're feeling unfulfilled. You're feeling and wondering when you'll ever get out of it. You need to seek God and ask, what is your purpose? And what is my purpose on earth? Because you are sent here on earth to actually fulfill that purpose. What is it? Because that is what must prevail. Before you leave this world, you must actually ensure that you have actually established and done what you are sent here on earth to do. So these are very, good verses that you can definitely, follow through in them. And as we speak about our Ikigai and the 6 lessons from that book, you will realize that there's a connection between what the Bible says and what the Japanese ways of doing things, as much as perhaps most of them don't read the Bible, how they do things, somehow it links back to these verses that we are sharing tonight. All right. So let's start our lessons. Lesson number 1 is never retire. As we spoke last week, Japanese people don't retire because they live within their element. Their lifestyle is actually their purpose, and it's not work, right? And that is perhaps what we need to establish today. Once you're in your purpose, once you're working within God's plans, you somehow don't feel like you're working. It's like your daily routine. And those are the things that you're doing. So we'll read through, because these are summarized notes from the book. So we just read through, and there are just a few key notes that I've picked from the book so that I can share with you. So many Japanese people never retire. They keep doing what they love for as long as their health allows. Last week we talked about they even live over 100 years, and they're even able to do a lot more for themselves without even asking for help, because they don't retire because they keep doing what they love. Yeah, Japanese people have a certain mindset. They possess qualities like hard work, patience, and perseverance that helps them keep going. Remember, if you're doing what you love to do, this patience, perseverance, and everything, you actually enjoy the moment, because it's still part and parcel of your journey towards accomplishing what your purpose is on earth. So you find that even if there is COVID or there is a war or there is whatever, you still find yourself doing what you love to do, despite the fact that there are so many other hindrances. And somehow you don't tire or give up, because it's within you, it's part of your DNA. So that is what I always say. If you did last week's homework, by now you should have established what your purpose is. And perhaps now these lessons will make much more sense to you. The second bullet point speaks to keep doing what they love. That's what Japanese do. They do what is their passion, their vocation, their mission, their profession. We defined all this last week. So you ought to have found out what is the linkage between what you're passionate about, what is your vocation, what is your mission here on earth, which is the big picture, and your profession, and how all that link together to be able to find your purpose, right? And that is what you will feel that you love to do, and you'll never feel frustrated. And if you do, definitely you will have the courage and the stamina to be able to push through to the end, because nothing comes easy, definitely. They also keep their body and mind busy to stay fit. Yes, they say that if you just sit around and do nothing and you're idle, that actually even shortens your lifespan. Yes, idleness and doing nothing shortens your lifespan. The more you keep your mind busy, the more you stretch it, and the more you become more stronger, and even you extend the number of years on earth. All right. So the lesson from this particular lesson 1 is that find a job or a profession that you could do for your entire life, which is usually something that you have the least reluctance with and can do without pay. In fact, the last part of this sentence is what you should be looking at. What is it that you can do without pay? And in fact, you feel every time someone asks for help in that particular area, you feel you want to help, Sometimes you even find yourself, you're drained because you're just helping in that area because you feel passionate about it. What is that? And if you did last week's exercise, you have found it. And that is what will actually help you work and never retire for the entire life, because you'll be so passionate about it, right? Okay, so let's go to lesson number 2. Be mindful or conscious about your thoughts and emotions. Yes, be very careful what is crossing your mind, what you think about every day. In fact, always reflect on what messages are going on in your mind and what is that telling you. Because most people, as much as they are silent, perhaps inside their brain, they're just complaining about something, and they're complaining every day. Other people, they're just giving up and saying it can't happen, it can't happen. While others who are making it in life, they are definitely working very hard and fighting for the next day. And they're not giving up. And they're saying it will work out, and it will work out. And eventually it does work out. So compared to millions of years ago, people did not have the bioequipment for fighting diseases, but today we do. And therefore, those equipments are really helping us detect diseases faster, even help us in managing our health, and we are able now to live a little longer because technology today helps us live longer. But it has its downside if it can reduce our age. Why? If you stay too long on screens encouraging sedentary habits. And this is what I was talking about. The sedentary habits, these ones that we sit down for too long, are not healthy for ourselves. You need to be able to use the technology that you have, wisely, so that it's actually helping you, not actually, staying on Facebook and all the other social media for too long until you're doing nothing, or rather your body just becomes lazy. All right. So what we're being told right here is that as much as technology has come to solve some problems, let's say in the medical world, it also has a downside whereby even our children cannot even survive without a phone. So we need to be very careful about what we're using those phones for, right? Stress is a longevity killer, and it affects the cellular aging. Yes, and then let me also say, stress occurs when we are overwhelmed by our chaotic thoughts. And that's why I'm saying be careful about what is going on in your mind. Be mindful and very conscious about your thoughts and what they're telling you, because if you're feeling overwhelmed, confused, lack of direction, full of a lot of stress and a lot of negative energy around you, you need to be very, very careful, even how you're reacting to that. Because it's not normally what happens to you, it's how you react to what happens to you that determines whether you remain calm or whether you feel overwhelmed and frustrated. So be very careful in what you allow into your mind from the outside, because the outside you have no control over it. You only have control over your own mind. So the outer world and the people you associate with, some of them you cannot leave them out because perhaps it's part of family. You need to be very careful even what kind of vibes of what kind of energy you allow to enter into your system, because it kind of gives you that chaotic environment that perhaps even gets frustrating to you. So being conscious and being very intentional about what your mind is telling you about the things that are happening around you, it's up to you to put those boundaries, all right? There was a time I was even talking about boundaries, and I was saying, sometimes you love somebody so much, and maybe even that somebody could be your spouse, could be your child, you cannot get rid of them. But you need to know your boundaries, even with these people, and let them know, ensure that they understand that you cannot go beyond certain points. You live together, yes, they're part and parcel of you, but you have to really be protective of your thoughts, of your mind, of your body, because if you allow all these energies to keep frustrating you, life can be very tough, right? So you cannot control your emotions, but just accept your emotions and silently observe them. This will calm you down a little and reduce stress. Yes, you cannot control your emotions. Sometimes you even wake up and feel so frustrated, and sometimes you do not know why. Why are you so frustrated? And it's just an early morning, no one has talked to you. What you are being advised here to do is that during your morning routine, take a moment and take deep breath. Some breathing exercise. Just calm your mind. Read something motivational, a Bible, or something that can help you calm your system, because you cannot control all those emotions, but you can actually observe them silently and let them cool off and go away. And in fact, you're always told, sometimes, let's say you're in an office, your boss is not the best of the all, or maybe you're in an environment with your client. This client is the one who pays your bills, because definitely with the business that he gives you, you must keep that client. Don't overreact. Count 1 up to 10 before you respond to a negative comment, right? Because people will be aggressive, and it's not you who has actually frustrated them. They are carrying frustrations from elsewhere. And in this meeting that you're having with them, they bring it, and sometimes they even start speaking to you in a very rational way. What you're being asked here is that being very mindful and very conscious about your thoughts and your emotions. Be on top of your emotions. Emotions, in other words, means energy in motion. That energy is in motion sometimes can be very, very aggravating and can even frustrate you. But you need to calm down, count 1 to 10 before you give an answer, before you respond. You can even postpone that meeting. You don't have to actually conclude that meeting if the other party is not up to scratch, up to, in the best of their moments to be able to have a conversation with you. So thoughts actually create your actions, and your actions create your reality, and your reality is actually your character and your future, right? So be mindful. This is a very key lesson for you today about your thoughts and your mind, and your and you have to be very conscious about what you say and what you do. All right. You can actually keep commenting at the bottom of this on the Facebook, and if you're on Zoom with me, you can definitely comment right here. We are together. The lesson number 3 is avoid sedentary work for extended periods. This sedentary work is about sitting for too long. Yeah, avoid sitting idle for extended periods, because it can pave way for so many diseases. In fact, I was shocked about the kind of diseases that actually are associated with sedentary lifestyle. And some, if you could read that book, some diseases are like these lifestyle diseases. Even osteoporosis is also as a result of sedentary lifestyle. And I was very, very surprised about that. Yeah. So sitting for too long, being idle, try to avoid that, right? Try and fill each space, not with too much work 24/7, but with something. Some of it is relaxation, meditation. Others is hard work, because you must work, but make sure you're not idle for too long, all right? The other one, you can take a short walk, yeah, during breaks, and you could also exercise regularly for at least 30 minutes every day. Very true. Every maybe 2 hours, you can actually have a schedule every day maybe every 2 hours, or maybe every 1.5 hours, you walk, do something, all right? Maybe every week, you can even do an exercise, go to the gym or do something, all right? Myself, I love to play golf, and therefore once a week, I just go to the golf course, and walking for about 3 to 4 hours is good for my health, all right? And then, sorry for that. And also during the day, just make sure that you're not too idle, you're not just laying around lazily, because that is not good enough. Lesson number 4 is accept the world as it is. This was another key lesson here. The world is not perfect, and we all know that. It is only by acceptance that you come to terms with it. For example, your thoughts will not come as you want them to, right? But once you start to embrace them with open heart, you will feel relaxed. Both negative and positive. We are not saying that you only accept just positive things. Also, negative things will happen, but just they have their place in our lives, and they have a lesson they're teaching us. So embrace everything that happens to you, all right? And then things happen for better or for worse, and the problems that start when you build expectations. In fact, this is a very key point here. Don't have too much expectations on people, on things. Expecting too much sometimes can be frustrating to yourself. Just be relaxed. If something comes, it will be a surprise for you. But anyway, you had put your intention out there in the world, and the law of the universe definitely will take effect and give it back to you at the right time. So one way to be peaceful is to imagine the worst case scenario, and this will help you realize your privileges. Yes, Japanese use this part. Sometimes when you're stressed and you feel like things are not working, sit back first of all and count your blessings and say, at least I've achieved X, Y, Z, I'm alive, I'm healthy, I have a family, I have a roof over my head. If you start appreciating, and secondly, you start looking what the worst that could happen. This is what you're being told here. What's the worst that could happen if I have all these blessings with me? What's the worst case scenario? And when you look at it, you start to appreciate, I'm actually a highly privileged person. Yeah, let me not stress too much. Just relax. There's always a tomorrow. Sometimes we want to finish all the work today, or we want to finish all the work this week. No, there's always a tomorrow. The day will still come. So, and what's the worst thing that can happen if you don't finish that work today? If you're in an office and you know you cannot complete your work, then just tell your peers, your bosses, and whoever it is, let them know it's not possible to complete it today as much as you had said you would, right? What's the worst case scenario? So always accept the world as it is. Don't stress too much. Just relax. Keep moving, slowly, step by step, as much as you can. And also be open, speak up, don't die, right? I'm trying to check who is commenting here online and who is watching with me. And I had seen quite a few people. I believe we are still on. Yes, we are still on. I can see one comment, but let me read it. Who is watching with me? And I had seen quite a few people. Yeah, great job. All right, that's all. Thank you so much. Yes, someone has said great job. So accept the world as it is. This is a very key lesson. I don't know whether you've had it before. If you're listening to me today, or if you're watching this as a replay, don't stress about life. Look at the most successful people in the country where you're in. I know in this group we are from many countries in Africa, even in Europe. The most successful people don't stress too much. They are relaxed and they just keep networking. They just keep, they say things as they are. When they fail, they fail. When they lose, they lose. When they win, they win. And they just speak about wins and losses as though it's just part of the journey. And that's the way you need to look at life. Everything was meant to happen. The journey is supposed to be exciting and enjoyed. Just relax, take one day at a time. But at the bottom, or the key lesson here is, if you're actually using, or you have your IKIGAI, or you're dealing with what you're meant to be doing, with what you love, and you're doing what you love most, then definitely, even when things go wrong, you'll say, please, I'll try again tomorrow. All right. Lesson number 5, challenging tasks put you in a flow. This is another very important lesson. Being in a flow, what is that? Let's first understand that. Have you ever observed that when you read a book with an interesting plot, time flies by quickly? It's because when you're reading that book, you're in the flow. You're connected to that story you're reading. That's what being in the flow is. And if you're not actually operating within your ikigai, within your purpose, sometimes you may not be in the flow. You may never get that flow. You may never even experience it, right? So when you're completely in the zone, you don't pay any attention to whatever happens in your environment. And in fact, this is very, very important, especially where there is negative energy. You may realize that if you're within your ikigai, within your purpose, even if there was so much negative energy around you, you observe it, but it doesn't affect you because you're in the flow. You're connected to what you're doing. You're doing what you're meant to be doing. Yeah. So just make sure that you have tweaked what you do on a daily basis to be within your purpose. Yeah. So that when you're in that zone is what is being called being in the flow. So if you have figured out your ikigai, you should be in a flow when you do that thing because you are passionate about it. Try to push your limits a bit. That is when you're in your ikigai, try and now push your limits a little bit. All right. So when you challenge yourself, your brain rewards you for it, which is marked by a good feeling, right? So imagine yourself, if you don't have an ikigai right now, or you are not within your purpose, imagine yourself in a situation where you're working on something and that's something you love it so much. And imagine that you're stuck at some point and you challenge yourself to get out of that point you're stuck. How do you feel when you now complete that particular task? You celebrate yourself. It's because 1, you're within your purpose. 2, you challenged yourself and you're able to achieve something and you completed it as planned. For example, I was watching a certain video for a lady, she's young, she's about 23, 24, and she was a lawyer. She decided to leave her big job somewhere in Japan. And after she left the job, she started doing small things here and there and advising people on some corporate law. At the same time, she started building her YouTube channel. When she started building her YouTube channel, she said that she will monetize that channel within, I think, 5 months or so. Within the 5th month, she monetized, yes, but she only got $200 out of it. Yet she had left a job worth hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of a job. And she said, now, here I am. I left a corporate job and have only $200 5 months down the line. She went ahead and challenged herself to tweak that YouTube channel and give proper advice and in whatever line she wanted it. And at one point within the 10th month, one particular video went so viral, she got 1 million views, and a lot of people actually even subscribed to her channel. What happened on the 10th month? She started, and then now advertisers now came in. She started getting adverts on her YouTube channel and so on. So within the 10th month, she was able now to hit her $100,000 worth of income. What am I saying here? She left the corporate job, challenged herself to be out here and build her own life because she wanted a job where she can travel. I think she's now living in UK or US because she prefers to travel a lot. And that's why she left her corporate job. So with that challenge, and that reward that came on the 10th month, even though her target was on the 5th month, she was able to accomplish and even accomplish a lot more than she planned. So remember, people who have the right attitude or outlook towards problems or challenges tend to live longer. Remember about the Ikigai, it's about the Japanese people who live much longer than any other people in the world. So if you have the right attitude and outlook towards your problems and challenges, then you'll live much longer. Use those challenges as stepping stones. In fact, it should be exciting. Look at a football match. Those challenges in that field to score is what gives those people, and even the people watching, that adrenaline to work harder and even to cheer more and even to score. Because if life had no challenges, what would it be like? It's not even exciting at all. So take every challenge as some sort of excitement. Look at it in a very positive way and welcome it and have a conversation with it and tell it, I will beat you and I will move to the next level. You're not going to stall me over where I am right now. So challenging tasks put you in the flow, but always if you're already operating within your Ikigai, all right? So the last topic or the last lesson is about eating less to live more. Yes, this thing of filling up your plate until food is, pouring over is not the right thing to do. With the Japanese, they say that they eat 80%, or rather you fill yourself with food 80% of your satisfaction, right? And they call it an 80-20 rule, because this keeps you more healthy, yeah? And the Okinawan diet is famous all over the world, and they apply 80-20 rule for the diet. Eat 80% of the food and leave the rest, or rather, even put only 80% of food in your plate. Don't just put too much and then you start living. The idea here is to eat less than you could fit in your belly and stay a little bit hungry. But this is fantastic, right? You'll never actually find yourself having these lifestyle diseases because of overeating and being too full. And then the other thing, other than just eating less, is eating nutritional food by avoiding sugar, and then also just eat enough and don't overeat. So this is a whole topic actually it's a whole chapter in that book. Perhaps we'll cover it in detail in another day. But eating nutritional food as per your health, advisors, what they tell you is most important. And then last for food is very dangerous. All right. So just be moderate when you're eating your food. And that is the last lesson. So those are the 6 lessons that we've learned from this particular book. And I hope you've taken something home so that you can apply some of these things. They work. That book is excellent. There's a lot more lessons in there. So my homework for you today is that which are your top 3 things that you want to start doing or to improve your life? Some things you've not been doing before that you've learned today, you need to pick that. The other thing is that what are these 3 things that you want to stop doing or you want to change, right? You want to stop doing them, maybe filling your food, your plate with a lot of food. Maybe you want to do that. So if you want now to plan for how you're going to operate going forward, we are going to have a vision board workshop before the end of the year, this year, for you to be able to plan for your next year. And in fact, some of the things you need to be putting together are these things you're learning from these lessons. 1, what is your purpose? 2, what are these things that you need to change or you need to start doing? Because all those things, we are going to put them in a vision board. So this actually book is helping us actually start building that vision board for you. So just start noting somewhere with a pen so that workshop, when you come in, you just brainstorm over all those issues. All right. So that will be sometime maybe late November or early December. We'll just have a half day of a vision board workshop so that we can plan properly for next year. The reason why we read these books is so that we can also implement the lessons learned. And perhaps you've heard what the vision boards are. Yes, people have said it's pictures and everything, but it's not just pictures that you put somewhere. It's also, there's a way you do it so that they can work. You can have as many pictures as possible, but if you do not have the correct way of doing it, then you may realize that all those things may not come true. So that's why you need to attend that workshop, but the dates will be provided later. So it's been a great evening speaking to you. So for those who are watching this on the YouTube channel, please subscribe. My YouTube channel is Life with Lucy Munga, or Life Purpose with Lucy Munga. And yes, if you search for that on YouTube, you'll be able to subscribe. And all these other lessons we've been learning, they're all there, and many more that we've not been actually sharing in this fabulous lifestyle influencers group. But yes, they are all there, all the lessons, and you can watch them anytime. All right, so thanks so much for those who are commenting, those who watched with me, and those who are coming to watch later. So we can actually have a conversation. Leave your comment below, and we can have a conversation separately. So that's all for today. Have a good night, and goodbye for now.